Hi, Leos, and welcome to your January 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your month ahead. Moving pretty quickly today, Leos. I feel that you also likely will be moving quickly in January. This is a very prominent ending and new beginning time for you, as it seems like it always is for your sign so lately. I mean, as a Leo rising myself, I'm beginning to get a bit tired of this like ebb and flow, like constantly being at like an ending phase and constantly going into a beginning phase. But nonetheless, here we are once more. So I feel that coming out of December, it's likely that you have a bit of polarity, okay? A bit of like, wow, I suddenly know exactly how to move forward with this ongoing issue that I had. And now I know exactly how I want to move forward with my future. And then the next day, I have a totally different thought about how to do this. And it's kind of like a very two-minded world that I feel you to be living in. And this is going to have to start alleviating through January. So really being clear on how you might have overdone yourself or, outsourced too much or placed too much pressure onto a certain follow through to where now you have this weird, maybe mental association with what you're taking on in your life. It's important to just basically categorize it all and understand how you really feel and to try to become a little bit more one-minded with things, okay? So knowing that you either need to step away from something now and pursue that really incredible ultimate cause, or knowing that what you're currently involved in is that ultimate cause. I feel like that's really the best way at this point in time to be distinguishing where you stand. So if what you're currently interacting with is giving you a feeling of fear, or it's old, it's outworn, it's clogged up energetically, it's not really resolving itself either at this point in time, I think it's just a clear message that there is maybe a different ultimate cause or a different goal coming up, but you have a really important journey, I think, to undertake in the year of 2022 that revolves around how these things merge together or whether they do or don't merge together. So what I mean is like whether or not what you're currently doing or what is currently making up a lot of your life experience will merge with the oncoming cause, or whether they will remain separate. I feel like, again, this is maybe a source of a lot of the two-mindedness, or maybe it's just really coming down also to what's going into your body and how that's affecting perhaps your psychology or your general sense of well-being. So, moving right into January, I feel like it's really important to start taking this all from a very different perspective. So if what you're, again, undertaking right now is generating a sense of fear or insecurity, the death card is going to come in here, and that archetype is going to become very prevalent in your life, and I think it's just going to kind of like dissipate all of this stuff. There needs to be a very sturdy, sober-minded knowing of how you move forward here, and an attempt, at least an attempt to solve some of this confusion. Again, the Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces, Jupiter just went into Pisces, which is a quincunx to your sign. It indicates that your sense of benevolence or your sense of luck in your life might be a bit confusing, or it's like hard to really pinpoint it. You might be taking it from so many different perspectives, and you've got to really simplify it and make it a little bit easier. You also have the World coming up in your reading, which again says to me that you're at a major ending phase. You have maybe taken something to about as far as it can go, or it's very difficult to see how this would continue to be an uphill battle or continue to be pushed even further. You could be very tired of pushing a certain boulder up a hill, basically. And, by the end of January, I think it's important to know that that is the way that things have been, if it has been that way. So if you've been pushing a giant boulder up a hill as one person, it's important to at least know that now and to not trick yourself into thinking that this is some kind of easy process or that this is some type of like whimsical, like magical experience, when the reality of it is pushing a big boulder up a hill, and it's not kind and it's not something that can be done forever. And for those of you Leos who aren't having that, who are actually having like a truly easy time, congratulations. You have probably made some very advanced progress within the last few months. Let's talk about your week to week, Leo. In the first week, you've got the world rooted down by the death card. Again, week number 1 of January. This is the big stuff. The only major arcana. The most important week of your month happens here. You need to heal an injury, perhaps. Perhaps there is something that's been malfunctioning for too long. Maybe you need a more secure internet experience. Maybe you need a more secure house. Maybe you need to heal a stress injury. Maybe you also need to quit a job, or, I mean, I can't obviously recommend that anybody do that, but it's like when the world and the death card come together, they're both cards of endings, okay? So I would say that every Leo person has at least a major revelation here about what they can't participate anymore, about what they can't do anymore, okay? And I think that there should be some simple solutions, okay? There really should be easy ways to resolve some of these issues here and now, just by knowing how you feel in your heart about these situations, regardless of other people's input, regardless of what you think is like societally proper or not. How does it make you feel truly deep within? I would say that you can find a lot of points of release there and relief, okay? Your sign is meant to have relief in the year of 2022. Relief. It should not be as hard as it was in 2021. And it's going to require a big release process here in the first week of January, I think. Okay. What that entails is going to be different for every Leo. But I just feel so strongly that if you've been like guarding yourself away from the rest of the world, hiding away, or having to like exist in a very hidden capacity, on one hand, I know that to be quite a cunning thing or quite a smart thing, because it's difficult for people to feel open. They feel vulnerable during this time. But again, Leo, it's like the sun. It can't be hidden. Nobody ever in their life has claimed to have never seen the sun, or has claimed that the sun has been like hidden from them. Like, it's kind of improper for your sign's energy to exist in a super hidden capacity. I mean, unless you're like, I don't know, unless you've got a lot of 4th house energy in your chart, or a lot of 6th house energy even, that can indicate that you perhaps have a few other things in your life that are more under wraps or private. But even then, I mean, that creates conflict. Like, Leos with strong 4th houses, for example, tend to have a lot of conflict around like, wow, how do I be self-employed? Do I be employed by like a company? Like, do I stay in the private sector, or do I go to the public sector? There tends to be a big conflict there. Because again, the energy of Leo and Cancer, 4th house and 1st house is like, 4th house and 5th house is like semi-sextile, And with that quincunx from Jupiter and Pisces, it might be making you think, okay, I need to make all of this private. I need to hide. I need to keep hidden. And maybe that is what's needed for the rest of 2022. But I would already start planning ahead. I've really been recommending that people look ahead to like 2023 and 2024 and ask themselves if they're satisfied with the here and now, like December 2021, January 2022, if they would be happy if that was still in effect then. And I'm seeing the vast majority of people, like 75% of people, being like, no way, Jose. But at the same time, they're not making any changes, and they're expecting that like the universe or something is just going to like resolve all of this for them. And it's not going to do that. Like, we have to understand, especially in the first week of January, what we can do to actually see this no longer be an issue in our lives. So week number 2, you have the 9 of Pentacles rooted down by Queen of Swords. So beautiful, okay? Wonderful environment to figure something out, okay? I would say by the second week of January, you need to have some type of resolution in place. And certainly by the end of 2022, I mean, some of you can do it right here, okay? And you don't even have to go through like the next 11 months with this like Libra, like weighing the two sides, not knowing what to do in this situation. You can figure it out there. That's a beautiful combination of energies to figure something out. Week 3, you've got the 6 of Cups reversed, rooted down by the Page of Swords. You need to watch out for unceremonious communication. So being very, like, holding stuff back, again, over privatizing things, keeping things too hidden, keeping things too under wraps, it could start to negatively impact your reputation. And people could start to think that you are like maybe, I don't know, doing something odd if there's not like a giving or very open context within a situation, especially things that are kind of done halfway, like kind of being halfway in to something, but halfway out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. This really needs to be overcome in January. So what you can do in the third week is you can maybe implement some kind communication, or you can ask around, or you can be very giving to people communicatively. So I understand. I mean, Leo's quite good at this. It's like diplomacy. It's like kind greetings. Like just these small things can make big differences for you in the third week. And then in the fourth week, Page of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by Ace of Pentacles, something has grown a lot more than you expected. For some of you, it's like what you're going through here is just a result of being so successful, or just a result of something becoming so big and so awesome. But then you start to see it's like, wow, there could be like a romanticization of when this was smaller. Like, gosh, I remember when I didn't even have to worry about like lawyers and accountants. I remember when that wasn't even a part of my life and I didn't have the same amount of money, but I didn't have to worry about these games. It could be something like that. But nonetheless, you're getting the big financial reward. It seems like Ace of Pentacles. You could be getting a huge tax refund that could be coming. Some of you might have to pay a lot to taxes as well. I feel that Leo is a sign that has like very big burdens, you know, with, especially if you're Leo rising with like Jupiter moving and Neptune into your 8th house. Like really keep your eye out for huge liabilities. Okay, so owing a big tax debt. Also debt in general. So you might have a desire to purchase a huge house or something, like take on a huge mortgage with Jupiter and Neptune moving into your 8th house. And it could be a really bad time for it. It's a good time always with Jupiter in the 8th house too. I mean, this depends on the person, but you typically see like a mortgage or a financing or some type of windfall as well financially when Jupiter moves into the 8th house. But you want to make sure also that it's clear, or that it's one, above board, and two, also that you're thinking of all of the other aspects of it. You know, some people start businesses and don't think about taxes, and they set themselves up for like a world of pain. Some people, you know, get a mortgage comparing that mortgage payment to like their monthly income. And they're like, as long as that's less than my monthly income, like that's all that matters. No, you need to keep it really small. I'm recommending to all of the signs to like cut back expenses, because no one's going to do it for us, and the inflation is going to make it to where people even making huge amounts of money every month are living paycheck to paycheck if they're not choosing not to. Okay, so we have to be very choiceful. We have to be very methodical with matters of finance and money, especially if you have Leo rising. Okay, having Jupiter and Neptune in the 8th house can mean that you lose a lot of money. It can mean that you, I would not recommend like, again, I'm not like a financial advisor, but it's just coming up with this 8th house activation for you. You have to watch out for just like buying whatever you want with like that credit card. Okay, you want to make a really strict budget for yourself, because literally all of your money will go away in 2022 if you're not paying attention. Also, you could very easily sign up for like student loans, or you could be lent anything. Like basically your lending balance or your credit is probably really good with this transit, and probably anybody will lend you anything. Businesses, mortgages, car loans, student loans, insurance payments, tax payments. It's like you're majorly... Honestly, Leo, you might have parasites. You might have like some type of parasitic relationship. I'm feeling that there's so many different entities profiting off of you. And yes, when people get really successful, that happens, but it kind of makes you think about the nature of like parasitic energy, and how super successful people might just have a major parasitic presence in their life as well. Because I suppose like the parasitic energy needs these people to keep them going. So yeah, you know, interest payments, watch out also for people price gouging you, so you could like not know it, but like mechanics, or even like anything, even at like major grocery stores or something, you could see that somehow you've ended up paying more than you were meant to pay. Okay. And it's like only you can be the advocate of this. And I feel like no matter what, you'll probably have money in the year of 2022, like kind of go away. So I would definitely like keep all of the security for like your bank accounts up. Like your password could be stolen. It could be hacked. Like it's a really and you might have already been having this for a long time. I mean, if you're Leo rising, you've had Neptune in your 8th house for a long time. You could have already been like just bleeding out a lot of finances. Also with Jupiter coming into the 8th house, it just means that you're getting more too. So it could be like just the matter of like having so much income that like you don't even pay attention to what you spend anymore. Or, I mean, I can't imagine many people being in that situation with the inflation deal, though. Like even, again, super wealthy people are kind of like getting pretty freaked out, I think, about what's happening. But at the same time as all of this, at the same time of like, you know, maybe a lot of different entities like requesting financial compensation from you, there might also be something that you actually need to really spend a lot or invest a lot in. So that becomes a stressful situation, doesn't it? When you've got like these huge tax bills, huge mortgage bills, huge insurance bills, huge like maybe even like random expenses showing up on your bank account and you don't know where it went. And then all of a sudden you've got to like buy a new car, or you've got to like pay a huge bill of some kind. And that's how like, you know, a wealthy person can lose that stuff. So it's very possible that many wealthy people could like completely lose everything they have in the year of 2022. Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces also sees people like writing all of their, like cutting people out of wills, or like also donating everything they have to charities. There's like a monastic kind of energy there where people become separate from like the material world and they don't want it anymore. They like dissolve their businesses, they like liquidate it all, and then they donate it all to charity and go on some backpacking trip through like West Africa or something, just to understand the truth about the human experience. So there's a lot of that too. And, you know, it's not a bad time also for you to just let things come out of the wash as a Leo person. So if there are businesses that you're running that you don't like, it is a good year to dissolve those. If you have a plan, I mean, obviously you want to get things in order. You want to know what comes next. You want to have all of those structures set up before you just go like impulsively dissolving things or changing things or going crazy. Also, I mean, I was about to say it's not a bad year to like actually hire a financial advisor, but at the same time, you could see corruption there. Anything that deals with like well-paid professionals can experience corruption in the year of 2022, and that's already been happening for a long time, but it's particularly prevalent this year. And actually, I think it will become less prevalent after this year. There might be like mainstream scandals or controversies about professional corruption of some kind, and I feel that Leo rising people are particularly vulnerable to those stories. So on either side of it, like if you are a working professional, if you're like a lawyer, if you're like an accountant, if you're, I don't know, if you own a business, like try to really ensure that you're doing things right. And I know that this can also become like a obsessive compulsive catastrophe. But in the 4th week of January, I think, you know, with Mercury being retrograde towards your 6th house and going back over, you know, the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Capricorn of 2020 triple conjunction, and then also Venus having retrograde over it as well, I think you're just really in for a big polish up or a big rebranding for some of you, or a big just paradigm shift on your professional life or your financial management or your philosophy toward material life. Like that's really what's coming up for you this month, you know, with 9 of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles reversed, Ace of Pentacles, and also your 2 major arcana cards. I was feeling them very much within the context of stories that connect to professions. So anyway, Leo, let's talk a little bit more. Let's take it to like a relationship context and a health context in your extended reading. I'm going to get a central theme and 2 supporting themes, as well as an overarching significator card for you on Patreon. I will link that below and in the center of your screen. I hope you all enjoyed the reading. If you're new, hit the subscribe button and thumbs up the video. Those are 2 free ways to support this channel. And if you want to get the extended reading, we'll talk about health and relationships and anything else that comes up. Come check it out on Patreon. I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful January. Happy New Year. Bye.